What a week it's been for Nintendo fans, from Directs supposedly happening on the 15th to not happening, to now being delayed and still coming next week, to a partner showcase, to Nintendo dropping all sorts of information on Twitter for games that are coming out that probably would have been in a Direct. So there has just been a crazy whirlwind of stuff going on, and now we have something that tops it all, with some reports coming out that Nintendo's next console, the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever the case it may be, is now coming early 2025 instead of in 2024 like we had originally heard, with supposedly a March reveal just around the corner. So we've got to talk about what the heck's going on. What are these sources saying? Do we actually believe it? Because at the end of the day, everything has just been a rumor, and this is nothing else but that, because we don't know where this information truly is coming from. And is this credible? Do we really think Nintendo will launch Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025 rather than 2024? So what's up, Waluigi? Trent from Trentendo. Today, like I said, we're going to just dive into everything around what the heck is going on with Nintendo, because something is up. So before we hop into all that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video so you guys are kept up to date with everything going on here at Trentendo. We're trying to hit to 3,000 followers, subscribers, so that would be super awesome. If you enjoy this type of stuff, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this goodness from Nintendo and all of these juicy rumors. So let's just hop right into what is being claimed with Nintendo Switch 2, because this is the biggest part of what is going on. So this is coming over on VGC. There is a news article. I'll have a link down in the description. It says, sources: Nintendo Switch 2 will now launch in 2025. Nintendo next console could launch later than expected in early 2025, it's claimed. That's according to Brazilian journalist, I'm probably going to butcher this, Pedro Henrique Lutilipi, who claims in the new OX do Controle video that he received the information from 5 separate sources. According to the sources, they are also working on games targeting Q1 2025 to launch alongside the console itself, which was internally slipped out of its previous 2024 target. Eurogamer reports it's heard similar whispers from industry sources this week, though it's not been able to concretely substantiate them. So we've got a couple of people, we've got some Brazilian outlets and now Eurogamer and VGC all kind of reporting on this. Eurogamer and this Brazilian journalist Pedro Henrique Lutilipi, he's saying that he has 5 different sources that Nintendo Switch 2 is going to launch in 2025. But there's a little caveat here that I think people are kind of overlooking, and that is saying that these sources are working on games targeting Q1 2025 to launch alongside the console. So what do we consider a launch game? Is it a game that's, it is out day one, is that what they're working on? Or are they working on games that will be, launch titles, meaning the first 3 to 6 months of the console itself? So if we're thinking of it that way, maybe Nintendo's wanting to have these games, in the first couple months of the console, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to have them launched the day one that the console goes out. So if you think about it, how many games typically do we see, as a launch title that they're exclusively on, this Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever? Now, it was a little bit different, I think, with the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch because of how there was no backwards compatibility, things like that. But with what we've heard about Nintendo Switch 2 having backwards compatibility, I don't think that they need to have 20 games ready to go at launch. Maybe they only have 3 or 4 titles that are Nintendo Switch 2 games. They'll end up probably being cross-gen titles at that, but they'll probably be better on the Nintendo Switch 2. So we're thinking like your 3D Marios, probably not this. Obviously, I don't think we'll get anything this particular generation to launch, but Zeldas, you're going to get your bigger titles that are going to be the launch day one titles that are going to be the best experience on the new system. And then maybe if these other teams that are working on games targeting Q1, maybe those are the games that are coming out, a couple of months after the console launches, to really make sure that you're starting to beef up that Switch 2 library of games. So I'm not buying this totally right now, partly because of that. I think that there's too much, and just this last week, if this last week has not taught us anything, let's be real, we can't believe anything coming out of these reports until something actually comes from Nintendo. So until we actually see, a Nintendo Direct next week, until we actually see a Switch 2 reveal in March, there's nothing that we can actually believe, I feel like, from this. Now, the other thing that I heard brought up in a Nintendo Prime video, which makes a lot of sense in my opinion as well, is could this be that there is a chance, this is all speculation. I don't have any sources. He doesn't have any sources. This is just a thought, and it made sense to me. What if they are targeting not targeting a worldwide launch? So what if they are just going to say Switch 2 will launch, whatever day in Japan and then North America on X day, and then it goes to, we'll launch in Europe on this day, maybe a month or two on the line, or we'll launch in Australia on this day, so, and this could be in order to combat scalping, to make sure that they have the supply to meet demand for each of these regions. And if they kind of do a slow rollout, they can have more units per region, if you will. So that is one thought as well. So maybe these sources, these are coming from European sources, and it looks like a Brazilian source. Obviously, he has 5 different sources, so we don't know where those sources originate. Are they South American? Are they from the US? Are they from Japan? Are they from Europe? Eurogamer I would feel like their sources more likely come from some European industry people. So where are these rumors coming from? And is that, that is something that could potentially be happening, that we're going to see a slow rollout for Nintendo Switch 2 rather than a worldwide launch. So like I said, though, we have to take everything with a grain of salt. None of this is confirmed, so I'm not too worried. I've seen a lot of people being concerned that what the heck is Nintendo doing, because we don't know anything at this point either. So if we get a partner showcase next week, as we're kind of thinking we might, and we don't get any other first-party reveals, that to me seems something more is up with Nintendo Switch 2, because why would Nintendo not want to show us what is coming unless they want to show us what's coming on something better, like the next generation system? So if that reveal comes in March then, and we see something, grand like Metroid Prime 4 and new 3D Mario, and it's all running on this awesome new hardware, why would they want to wait a whole year from the reveal to the release of the next system? Because all they're going to do is tank the system sales for the current Switch and the software sales, because people are going to just say, I want to wait and play this on Nintendo Switch 2. There's no reason to play some of these games on the Switch 1 if you're going to want to play on Switch 2 and can get a better experience. So there's a lot to unpack here. Like I said, I'm not too worried. I'm still thinking that based off of the way Nintendo has handled things so far, with the Twitter drops of, Princess Peach Showtime stuff, with Splatoon trailer stuff, with Donkey Kong versus Mario stuff, all of this to me makes most sense that we will probably see a partner showcase next week, because they've already revealed their first party stuff. And then that Nintendo Switch 2 reveal in March would make sense to me as well, based off of what we've heard and what, like I said, Nintendo's doing. And this is all speculation on my part. But then if they do reveal it in March, they're not going to wait a full year to launch the system. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below, what you guys think. Does any of this make sense? Am I off my rocker? Do you want to see Nintendo Switch 2 this year or next year? Because personally, I think that it doesn't make sense for them to launch in 2025 with the way that they've handled their business up until this point. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video on your way out. It really does help. I appreciate it. And until next time, catch you later.